Alright, my beautiful people, once again, I welcome you to this wonderful YouTube platform that gives you the updated news and information on all the matter with the happen for Biafran land. Please subscribe to this channel. Make sure you turn on your notifications so that you can get notified whenever we drop our spanking news. Without wasting much of your time, make we go straight to the news we will carry on for you because this na critical matter as it is hot. Femi Adesina, the former PA to President President Buhari, Muhammadu Buhari, has come out to indirectly expose the Nigerian government without knowing. He said Buhari considered assassination of Nnamdi Kanu, but instead he chose to arrest him. Now, I want to say something, a little thing before I go into this news fully. Because the Nigerian government are actually putting themselves into a lot of mess in the issue of Nnamdi Kanu. They don't know the calamity that they are committing. They don't know the offense that they are committing in the issue of Nnamdi Kanu. First of all, the Nigerian government have come out to say, that Muhammadu Buhari, the former president, was initially thinking of assassinating Nnamdi Kanu. In other words, it has proven how the Nigerian government have been assassinating innocent lives, innocent people who only crime is to come out to speak out the truth about the evil that is being perpetrated by the Nigerian government. This has also proven to show that what Nnamdi Kanu have been saying, about Nigerian government and what Èkpá is currently saying about Nigerian government is true. These are proofs, these are evidences. Now, this is another way to prove that this is even the reality. Nigerian government's plan was to kill Nnamdi Kanu in DSS custody. Their plan has always been to assassinate him in DSS custody. Now, looking at the way he was abducted, first of all, speaks volume. So, we know he was sold out by his loved ones. He was sold out by people he trusted. We strongly believe that someone close to Nnamdi Kanu was the person that gave the intel about Nnamdi Kanu. Èkpá has proven this over and over again, and you agree with me about the ordeal of Nnamdi Kanu. That is not the issue. But Femi Adesina, should I use the word the crime fighter or the crime defender of Muhammadu Buhari, has come out to expose Buhari without him knowing. Why will you want to assassinate an innocent man? First of all, a freedom fighter that came out to speak out the truth about the evil that the people are going through. That is the same person you wanted to kill. Honestly speaking, the Nigerian government is lucky. They are really lucky that nothing has happened to Nnamdi Kanu. No wonder they've been hiding some certain fact to the people. Have you forgotten how his medical team came out and said something about the deteriorating health of Nnamdi Kanu in DSS custody, and yet nobody said anything about it? Have you guys forgotten? This has actually proven that truly the Nigerian government, their aim was to assassinate the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, and that would have destroyed this country. It could have been the end of Nigeria. But let us go straight to the news, because this is not very important news. Make I not talk much on this issue. Please go to the comment section and give your own input on what you think about this controversial issue. Straight up to the news we will carry on for you. The news reads: Femi Adesina, a spokesperson for former President Muhammadu Buhari regime, says his principal had once said he would have sponsored the assassination of the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, but opted to kidnap and return him to Nigeria to face the law. According to Mr. Adeshina, in his newly published book, Reflection of a Special Advisor, Media and Publicity, 2015 to 2023, Mr. Buhari said he opted for the arrest of Mr. Kanu instead of mobilizing to kill him abroad when a delegation of Igbos led by Chief Mbazulike Amechi met with the president in the villa to plead for clemency for Mr. Kanu. We continue with the news. Let him make his case in court instead of giving a terrible impression of the country from outside, he said. I feel it is a favor to him, Mr. Kanu, that opportunity government could have mobilized to eliminate him where he was. But we did not do that, Mr. Buhari told Mr. Amechi-led delegate. Mr. Buhari further told the delegate, pleading on behalf of Mr. Kanu, that their request was a hard one for him to grant, but he would consider it. You have made an extremely difficult demand on me as the leader of this country. The implication of your request is very serious. In the last 6 years, nobody will say I have confronted the judiciary. We are developing a country and we have to go through the pains, Mr. Buhari said. On July 1st, Mr. Kanu was repatriated back to Nigeria after disappearing from the country following a military raid on his home. We know the story. The regime had provided a murky explanation of how the indigenous people of Biafran leader was intercepted through the collaborative efforts of the Nigerian intelligence and security services. Failing to further elaborate on the circumstances of Mr. Kanu's capture, but the Kenyan government denied involvement in Mr. Kanu's arrest and repatriation to Nigeria from their soil. George Wajokia, a counsel representing the detained separatist leader, said the Buhari-led regime abducted Mr. Kanu from Nairobi. We have copies of his passport and a stamp that he was indeed in Kenya. We also have evidence he was in his residence on a particular day. We also have material proof that he was at the airport on a particular day to meet a friend, and there he was arrested, Mr. Wajekoya said. Mr. Kanu has been held in detention since 2021. In December 2023, the Supreme Court of Nigeria upheld the treasonable charges against Mr. Kanu, and the rest is history because you know what has ensued since. But one thing I want to clarify once again, just like I said, initially, is why would the Nigerian government want to assassinate Mazi Nnamdi Kanu? First of all, you want to assassinate a man just because he came out to say the truth about the country. You want to assassinate an innocent man because he is not supporting the evil government that has been killing innocent Biafrans all over Nigeria. You want to assassinate an innocent man because he opened his mouth and spoke against the marginalization of Igbos. You want to assassinate a man because he has failed to support the evil that this administration has been putting against Igbos in Biafran territory. Oh, it is now a crime to speak out. It is now a crime. The reality is, this country would have been totally destroyed. Maybe Biafran would have come sooner if Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was assassinated. Nobody is playing. Nobody would have taken it lightly. Oh, you felt, the whole thing Simon Èkpá was saying was just mere threat. They were ready to burn down the country, assuming anything until what happened to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Even till date, if it gets to that level that Nigerian government decide to buy Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in DSS custody, it will be a total disaster for the Nigerian government. It will be a total disaster. they won't be able to handle, what will hit them, and it's going to hit them real bad and real hard. I want the Nigerian government to understand that Nnamdi Kanu is unkillable. You cannot buy an innocent man that has been ordained by God to liberate the people. That is a total no-no, and Biafrans will not take it lightly. Adesina said a lot of things here, but I believe if the lawyers of Nnamdi Kanu are indeed, smart enough, they should capitalize on these words that Adesina said. They should capitalize on this word Adesina said to handle the case of Onyendo Nnamdi Kanu, because it has gotten to that level. But I'm going to stop here and allow you to go to the comment section to give your own input on what you think and what you feel concerning this matter, because this matter don't enter controversial state. This matter don't enter serious level. Please go to the comment section, and give your own input on what you think about this issue. Do not forget to subscribe to this channel if you've not yet subscribed, and make sure you turn on your notification so that you can get notified whenever we drop our spanking news. Thank you once again for choosing this wonderful YouTube channel for your updated news. All right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, lovely people, lovers of freedom all over the world. Wherever you're joining us from today, you're highly welcome to your one and only YouTube platform that gives you the back-to-back news and information on all the matter, where they happen for Biafran land as it is hot. Please stay tuned and continue to choose this wonderful YouTube channel, because now for only here you dey get the quality news and information. Now straight to the news where I carry come for you, because this is a very controversial issue. Una remember when Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Onyendo himself, been dey holla, him been dey shout, him been dey scream to the world, say these BH terrorists where they ravage the so-called contraption called Nigeria, say they get link to Nigerian military. Also, make we leave Nnamdi Kanu own. Prime Minister Èkpá, the Prime Minister of the Biafran government in exile, and the only man that is single-handedly carrying the Biafran struggle at this time, at this critical time. In his intelligence, he has been saying this over and over again, that the Nigerian military are linked with these BH terrorists and bandits. I remember in one of his, in fact, it's not even one. He has said it numerous times, that the Nigerian military, these so-called soldiers that are meant to be safeguarding the lives and properties of the people, they are the ones who is terrorizing the country. They are the bandits. And that is why anytime he's referring to the Nigerian soldiers, he referred them to the Nigerian terrorist soldiers, and that is what they have actually turned to be. Now the news where I carry come for you today, an army general who was forcibly who retired after he was detained, maybe they tried to shut him up, has come out to expose the Nigerian military. BH sponsors have links with Nigerian military. Army general forcibly retired after 64 days detention, reveals in a letter to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But it is so painful that the letter that he's writing to the president of the country will not yield anything. Highest, they will find him and kill him. They will find him and they will buy him, because at the end, Nigeria is a country where if you speak the truth, if you have truth in you and you speak it out with your evidences, they will find a way to bring you down. Either they abduct you and put you in a secret detention, or they will find a way and buy you straight up so that you will not live to prove what you know. Now, let us go straight to the news. The news reads, General Ali Kpai, who was forced out of the army for exposing his colleagues' involvement with terror financing, disclosed this in a letter. We continue. The former general officer commanding GOC, one mechanized division of the Nigerian Army, Major General Ali Kpai, has revealed that terrorism financing, procurement, and movement of arms and ammunition for BH terrorists and bandits have links to the military. General Ali Kpai, who was forced out of the army for exposing his colleagues' involvement with terror financing, disclosed this in a letter to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, which also detailed his arrest, detention, and compulsory retirement. The most worrisome aspect was that some of the individuals involved in terrorism financing of BH terrorists and bandits, and who were also involved in procurement and movement of arms and ammunition for BH and bandits, had links with the military, he stated. Ali Kpai, who headed Operation Service-Wide (OPS), set up by former President Muhammadu Buhari to investigate those involved in terrorism financing, said his arrest, detention, and compulsory retirement followed the report of his team, which exposed the involvement of senior government officials, a top banker, and a top military brass in terrorism financing. Ali Kpai, in the letter published by This Day, revealed that he headed a presidential investigative task force instituted board of inquiry (BOI) convened by Major General B.M. Mongunu, the former National Security Advisor (NSA), which sat in the office of the National Security Advisor (ONSA) for 5 weeks from early January to late February 2020. I was the president of the BOI with members/secretary drawn from the NSC, NIC, DSS, NIA, ONSA, and NFU, as well as from the Board of Inquiry, BOI, which largely conducted its work as an investigative body tasked to investigate circumstances surrounding the illegal smuggling of petroleum products contained in 168 oil tankers in Benin Republic through a single smuggling route in Ilesa, Babara in Kwara State, he said. He said the BOI went further to uncover 295 oil tankers that conveyed premium motor spirit (PMS) and the major smugglers identified. The petition stated that the BOI made a significant discovery regarding the relationship between the smuggling racket, the terrorism besetting the Northeast, and the banditry or kidnapping for ransom, which was at its formative stage in the Northwest and parts of North Central geopolitical zones. These, he claimed, included the illegal mining of minerals in the Northwest and North Central and large-scale laundering of mostly funds meant for counter-terrorism or insurgency operations that were ongoing mostly in the northern region of the country. A syndicate which had extensive network in the country as well as being affiliated to international criminal network was as the center of moving financings from terrorism for other criminal activities stated above, he said. He added, it was thus apparent that terrorism and insurgency in the northeast, northwest, and north central were a criminal enterprise and were largely undertaken with profit rather than any ideology as the primary motive. Thus, we at the BOI arrive at the obvious conclusion that progress cannot be achieved except the financiers, collaborators, supporters, and the leadership of the terrorists and insurgents group are identified and the network dismantled, he said. The petitioner said recommendation on the findings were made and submitted to the presidency but were swept under the carpet because of the powerful individuals involved. The petition said the operations successfully affiliated the leadership of terror groups in the northeast, which culminated in the dissemination, adding that key terrorism financiers were linked to the individuals convicted for terror financing in United Arab Emirates. The petitioner noted that trouble started when the task force became victims of unfair attacks, including starvation of funding for its operations. This substantiates the argument that some powerful persons in and outside government, as well as from the military, were uncomfortable with the task force and specifically my humble self as commander, he said. The petitioner said the death of Lieutenant General Ibrahim Atahiru, under whose tenure he served as GOC, dealt a blow to the task force as the new army chief. Lieutenant General Farouk Yahaya removed him as GOC 1 Mechanized Division, Kaduna. He noted that subsequently, the presidency, the AGF became less helpful. According to him, the entire episode culminated in his arrest and detention for 64 days in solitary confinement, where he slept on the floor with consequent health implications. He went further to lament that the most painful part of his experience was that President Buhari, who approved his headship of the task force, did not come to his rescue. Begging President Tinubu for his intervention on the matter, he said, kindly cause an investigation into the circumstances surrounding my arrest, my detention, my maltreatment, and compulsory retirement from the Nigerian army. He also sought a review of his compulsory retirement from the army and that it should be commuted to voluntary retirement, as well as approved compensation for the expenditure incurred by the task force in hiring vehicles and quarters. These should include compensation for the pains and injuries suffered while incarcerated and approval of personal security, he said. This is a very serious accusation, and with the way this man is saying with his fact, you will agree with me, because the truth is that we already know. No matter how you want to see it, we already know the truth, the reality of what is really happening in this so-called contraption called Nigeria. That is why when people like Simon Èkpá, and Mazi Nnamdi Kanu keep on clamoring and hammering on Biafrans, to take the Biafran struggle serious, because that is the only route, of survival. This so-called country is so bad because there are so many bad eggs at the top. And honestly, the former president, in the person of Muhammadu Buhari, destroyed the peace of this country. He surrounded himself with his BH brothers. Do not forget how he was giving them amnesty. He will give them amnesty and put them in the military straight up to continue their work. The reality is that, there is nothing again to be said about this country except, for the total dissolution of the country. Let Biafran come, because that is the only way the freedom of our people can be assured. And all we have been fighting for will not be in vain. And those who have died during the struggle will not also be in vain. On that note, I say once again, thank you for joining me on this wonderful YouTube platform. You are only sure of getting only the quality news and information on this YouTube platform. We don't carry another matter come for you. Please make sure you share this news to as many groups and many platforms as possible.